I remember who I was. I thought I was this person, and I had this whole life and all these memories. And when I went through my Kundalini awakening, it was as if all of that got wiped clean. But at the same time, it made me really sensitive to energy. So I still will often get really overwhelmed if I don't have time to reset and find my balance. In 2016, I went through a massive Kundalini awakening that forever changed me. And in this video today, I want to talk to you about what changed in me. What was the before and what was the after of this Kundalini awakening? And how has it affected me now, almost 10 years since the awakening happened? So if you don't know, my name's Chris, and I'm a full-time spiritual mentor. It's very nice to meet you. And I run this channel because I like to connect with other people that have gone through similar spiritual experiences as I have, and share a lot of the wisdom that I've gained along the way working with my clients and on my own personal journey. So today I wanted to talk about my Kundalini awakening, which was, I guess, the second big spiritual awakening that happened to me, but it was definitely, maybe about 10 times as big as the initial spiritual awakening that I had maybe in 2014. So I was maybe 2 years into meditating and starting to understand these spiritual principles when I came across this energetic technique to move energy up my spine and out my mouth. And I actually have a video on YouTube from a couple years ago where I teach this technique. It's called How to Release Any Negative Feeling, I think. So you can check that out if you want to, but proceed with caution, because what happened with me is I started overdoing it. I was doing it throughout the day. I was doing it when I was at work. I was doing it in times that I really shouldn't have been. And I overwhelmed myself because I brought up way too much energy and emotion before I was ready. And this caused a split in my energy, and all this energy started rushing out of my spine, and I had a massive Kundalini awakening. So before my Kundalini awakening, I was genuinely a different person. Like, my Kundalini awakening was almost a death and a rebirth. I remember who I was. I thought I was this person, and I had this whole life and all these memories. And when I went through my Kundalini awakening, it was as if all of that got wiped clean. I still had memories of everything. I still had a lot of the same emotions as well. The main difference was I didn't feel like on the inside I was the person that had experienced all that stuff, even though I had all the memories. It felt like I was fresh, starting a new part of my life. And before I had my Kundalini awakening, I was starting to get into meditation, but I was really deep in my ego. I was really deep in a heavy energy, and I was very disconnected from my emotions. So although I was starting to learn how to get present and get out of my head, I still had a whole pool of emotions that I hadn't dealt with from my life. Before my Kundalini awakening, I was very disconnected from nature. I still loved nature. It was beautiful, but I didn't really feel nature. It didn't feel one with me. I didn't feel the harmony between my body and nature. I wasn't able to absorb the prana that flows between me and the universe. I was very disconnected on that level. I was disconnected from my body, from my emotions, and from the world around me. And through awakening, I got deeply tuned in with the life force energy and started to see it everywhere. Started to see my oneness with all of that consciousness and all of that energy. And it absolutely changed my life. The other thing that happened when I awakened my Kundalini was I got a lot more sensitive. And I had to learn how to release my identification with my emotions. Because before my awakening, I was very numb to my emotions. So I had this whole separate sense of identity that didn't involve my emotions that much. Once I had the awakening, there was so much emotion that I didn't know what to do with it. And in the beginning, I started to identify with the immense terror or the feeling of unworthiness or the different energies that came up. But after a while, I was able to fully surrender and to relax. And fully surrendering and relaxing allowed me to start to see all emotions as normal parts of a spectrum. But at the same time, it made me really sensitive to energy. So I still will often get really overwhelmed if I don't have time to reset and find my balance. So remember that as you go on this journey, you still always need to have time to find your balance. And when you go into the world and you go around other people that aren't so balanced, it can really take you out of balance. And that's actually normal and okay as long as you can find your way back to balance. I always love to tell people it's okay to go play in the woods, but you got to come out of the woods before you go deeper and play more. So if you find that you're lost in the woods, stop playing in the woods, get out of the woods. Once you're out of the woods, you can go back in the woods and play because you know where you are. But if you don't know where you are, if you feel lost, you got to stop playing around in the woods. Kundalini awakening has also made me a lot more awkward at certain times. There were times before my awakening where I really had a rock solid sense of social confidence, but because of the awareness and the intensity of Kundalini, it can often create awkwardness or feelings of discomfort and social interactions. And you actually just have to embrace that. I wouldn't try to force yourself to always come across as confident. I allow myself to seem nervous or like I don't know what's going on if that's the case. And being your authentic self is actually better than trying to fake a persona that is always confident. A huge part of why I feel so good and happy is because I feel in alignment with my purpose. I feel like what my true intention in this life is coming through, and I'm actually trying my best to accomplish the things that are set out for me. I can feel that if I wasn't doing that stuff, if I was maybe focused on the wrong things, or if I was distracted and trying to be focused on my safety and comfort instead of on following my purpose, I can imagine that I would feel a lot of inner turmoil or conflict. And I know that that does happen for people when they're out of alignment with their purpose. And I feel like as long as you're trying to do that, you'll feel in alignment. You don't need to be there tomorrow. Just try to move closer to there today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.